It's Thursday Night Football between the Miami Dolphins and the Cincinnati Bengals. We break down the game, give you our best bet, and it all starts right now. Hey guys, it's Matt from GrandstandBettors.com, and week 4 of the NFL season starts with Thursday Night Football between the Dolphins and Bengals in prime time. We're going to get to our best bet and prediction for that game in just a moment. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our picks, predictions, and contests throughout the entire NFL season. While you're at it, smash that like button because it is time to kick off tonight with some Thursday Night Football. So without further ado, let's dive in to the matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals here, minus 3.5 point favorites, and the over-under at the moment set at 47.5. Dolphins, they come into this one 3-0 on the season, beating the Patriots, Ravens, and Bills. And honestly, we know when we're wrong and we admit it. And we were wrong about Tua and the Miami Dolphins this season. Last season, we were spot on. They were horrible. This season has been a 180. He has had one hell of a start. Speaking of Tua, he has thrown for over or close to 1,000 yards through 3 games and 8 touchdowns with a 71% completion rate already through 3 games. Waddle and Hill, they account for about 2/3 of his receiving yards and 5 touchdowns, and both those guys are averaging over 100 yards per game. However, the question at the moment for tonight is, will Tua be able to go against the Bengals? Tua got banged up in that game against the Bills, dealing with back and ankle issues, and is listed as questionable for the game, but it does look like the communication out of their camp is that he and Waddle will go tonight. If he is not able to go, Teddy Bridgewater would start in his place. Whether it's Tua or Bridgewater, this team is going to go up against a very improved defense with the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals, they're top 10 in overall defense, rushing defense, and top half in the league in only allowing 224 yards through the air. And they're averaging about 2 turnovers per game. So let's talk about these 2-1 Bengals, because as good as their defense stats have been, what is concerning for us is those stats have come against the Steelers, Cowboys, and Jets. 2 of those teams sit in the bottom third of the league in total offense, and the other one is the New York Jets. Last week, the Bengals, who could not afford to go 0-3, ended up beating the Jets very easily. Burrow looking much better, throwing for 275 yards and 3 touchdowns with no interceptions for the second straight week after throwing 4 in week 1 against the Steelers. Burrow is now averaging 41 passing attempts per game this season, which is 8 more than what he averaged per game last season. And there's a reason for that, and it's because the rushing attack for the Bengals has been awful this season so far. As a team, the Bengals average 3.3 yards per carry, but that's a little skewed, really thanks to the 15 carries that Joe Burrow himself has had. If you look at Joe Mixon, he has been awful behind a mediocre offensive line at best. He has only 163 rushing yards on the season for an average of 2.8 yards per carry. Now, Miami doesn't have the best rushing defense, giving up 116 yards per game, but you have to think that even they will be able to keep Mixon at bay this week and force Joe Burrow to throw the football 40+ more times this week. So, with Tua's health in question and the Bengals team that hasn't played a good team in the NFL yet, what's our best bet here on Thursday Night Football? Well, if Tua does play, and it does look like he is going to, this defense is going to have their hands full, as the Bengals' defensive stats are a little skewed with only having played Mitch Trubisky, Cooper Rush, and Joe Flacco. We do think the Dolphins are going to put up some points here with Tua in this one and have the lead, forcing the Bengals to throw the ball again 40+ times. Regardless if the Dolphins have a lead or not, the Bengals, they're going to have to throw the ball to win with that bad rushing attack. The Dolphins, in our opinion, actually have a top 5 rushing defense, even though the stats won't show that. Lamar Jackson in week 2 ran for 119 yards against them, and last week Josh Allen ran for 50+ yards. These 2 QBs account for almost half of all the rushing yardage against that defense, and although Joe Burrow can run, this offense does not run plays just for Burrow like Jackson and Allen. So expect the Dolphins defense to swarm Mixon and keep him at bay, as we mentioned. So Burrow is going to have to throw and rely on his arm to pull out a victory tonight. And when he looks down the field, yes, he looks for Jamar Chase. But on the other side of the field, people forget about Tyler Boyd, who's another vertical target for him. In fact, Boyd has the most 20-plus yard catches thus far in the season on the team. And he hauled in 4 catches last week for 105 yards against the Jets. He's averaging just about 5 targets per game as well. So with our best bet for Thursday Night Football, we're going to take Tyler Boyd over 40.5 receiving yards in this game. Now, just a reminder, if you want our full card for Week 4 of NFL and Week 5 of college football, all you have to do is head on over to our Patreon and get that card today. In the meantime, though, sit back, relax, enjoy Dolphins Bengals on Thursday Night Football, and we'll see you tonight live for the game.